I remember years back, I was having a conversation with someone, and I was obviously not in my best place because I reacted versus responding. And my friend said to me, seek to understand. It was the first time I had heard these words put together in this way, and they've stuck with me ever since. And I really try to do that consciously, to seek to understand. I think so much of the time, what we say gets lost in translation. And what happens when we don't understand each other in the workplace, in our interpersonal relationships, is we don't have connection. And then when you don't have connection, it's not a good feeling. In the workplace, it can lead to misunderstandings and miscommunications, can lead to so much wasted time for one. And people can even, for example, not understand the task or the deliverable that was asked and then go off and work on their interpretation of it. Think about how much time was wasted focusing their attention on a task that was not the initiative, the deliverable that was requested. But if we instead seek to understand and recognize those moments when we have a pause, when we have a hesitation, when we have a gray area, and maybe that feeling it's a feeling of confusion. I like to call it a gray area, but really what it is it's a question. And how often do we not get our important questions answered? I see this in the hiring process a lot as well. When a hiring manager will come to me for help backfilling a role where the candidate was only in place for about a year, maybe 6 months, maybe a year and a half, any of those lengths of times, tenures, that's not a strong tenure. That's a bad hire. And usually when I ask that hiring manager a little bit about what happened and why they didn't work out, it'll come out that the hiring manager had a question. They had a pause, they had a hesitation, they had a gray area about that candidate that was maybe a red flag, and they didn't do their due diligence to keep pursuing that question, to properly vet it out. So this is just another example of what can happen when we leave our questions unanswered. And sometimes we don't allow ourselves the time to fully formulate our question. I know for me, it can take some time. Maybe in that moment, I know that there's a pause. I know there's a hesitation. I know I need to dig deeper. Maybe I know what it is right then. Maybe I don't yet have the words and have my question fully formed. So what I will do is I won't forget about that feeling. I'll write it down. I'll make a note. I'll make sure to follow back up. So if you're a hiring manager, for example, if you're having that hesitation, but you haven't quite identified what the red flag is, you can connect with another member of your leadership team and share with them how you're feeling, and maybe they can help you identify the question and then figure out the next step in properly vetting that candidate. And then in our interpersonal relationships, we want to feel connected. We're not going to feel connected with everyone, but humans need connection. And even with my close friends, sometimes I might be sharing an experience. Maybe it was a positive experience. Maybe it was not so good a feeling of an experience. And they'll jump to a conclusion and just share with me what they think that meant or what they think it's all about. And I notice that makes me feel frustrated. And sometimes I speak up, sometimes I don't say anything, but I do get curious about the emotion. Okay, I'm feeling frustrated in this moment. Now, why is that? I may not be thinking it through right in that moment, but later I'll go back to it. And I realize it's because we had a missed opportunity for connection. Had my friend instead clarified and had been seeking to understand, oh, Amy, okay, so you felt this way. What's an example of what they did or when this happened? And just asking that clarifying question creates opportunities for closeness. It would have created, this happened to me last week and I'm still thinking about it. It would have created an opportunity for me to share more and for my friend to get to know and understand me more. And then that creates more closeness. So remember, seek to understand in your relationships, in your conversations at work and in your personal life, in your interactions in general. I know we want to rush in and we want to share. Why? Because we want to be understood. But the more we listen and actively listen and really get curious and seek to understand the meaning, the real meaning behind what the other person is saying, the more opportunities we're going to have for closeness. And that is going to just enrich your life even more. Thank you so much for watching. Like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.